We do love you, Leeds. Hey, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. And I'm so grateful to be joined by my good buddy now, Wayne Doran from Onlyfoolsandsafc. You must be delighted.
Honestly, you've got no idea, Matty. I don't think I've stopped smiling since about 5 o'clock on Saturday night. So I'm gonna get the smile off my face.
48, well, over 48 hours now. Has it still not really sank in, buddy?
Nah, I still can't believe it. Absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I mean that semi-final. I've just been watching the little clip now. At your place when that Black Cat got brought behind goal, and I mean we had something similar against Norwich home in semi-final where I didn't think it could get topped. Unfortunately for us, we didn't get topped at Wembley. We've seen it get topped a few times this season for us, but I mean let's talk us through that semi-final, mate. I mean the atmosphere at your place looked incredible at Stadium of Light, buddy.
I've not experienced that like it. It's like nights like that are just one-offs. It's very, very rare you get to have that kind of atmosphere and like just the whole build-up before the game, like you said, the T4 as well, and the pyros, and it was a full house, and it was just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Them type of things will just live here forever, won't they? It's like magic.
100%. Man, do you think a lot of that emotion as well probably came from the fact that your form had been absolutely turgid? I mean, what were it, 5 losses on about? I mean, you probably didn't expect what's happened this last couple of we'd, but
well, I think we've spoke before about our form, and I thought we had no chance. To be fair, we'd lost them last 5 games. Loads of players were out of form, but the manager always said he had a plan. He was resting players, and it was kind of all part of the strategy to working towards the playoffs. But in the heat of the moment, you do criticise them, didn't you? You can't help it. It's just being a passionate fan, and you didn't like seeing them getting beaten. But what a turnaround! I mean, to be fair, we were probably the worst team in the 3 games. Now Coventry with a better side in the 2 games. Sheffield United with a better side for 75 minutes yesterday, but we've just took our chances at the right time. And if you are not football, if you didn't take your chances, you get beat and you get punished. And
you do, mate. Next season in Premier League, VAR's there. I don't think you'll be moaning about VAR, will you, pal?
Not after Saturday, no. I mean, I did see in my preview video that VAR were probably, a day one of us 30. I mean, I didn't agree with what I said in my video. I didn't agree with you've played 48 games and to have it in one game in the fight. It's not fair. It's not on. It's either all the time or never. But I'm so thankful it was there Saturday.
Do you think they got it wrong as well? The decision, not that it matters, but
I think it was right. When you look at it, I mean, I'm going to see it. I'm a Sunderland fan. I'm going to see it. But to be fair, he was offside and he was in Patterson's line of vision. So I think they got it right. But if you're a Sheffield fan, then you're going to see otherwise, aren't you?
100%. Because at that point, you probably struggle to get back in it. But I agree with you. I think it should have been disallowed. But like you said, mate, it probably shouldn't have been there anyway, VAR. But it's the rules. We knew what it was when you went into it. It's been that whole season that we knew it was going to be there at Wembley. And it is what it is. But so we've spoken, I think 2 or 3 times, haven't we, on this channel now this season? And when we first spoke, you were top of league. We both sort of thought you probably weren't going to stay there after such a blistering start, and you fell away a little bit, and you probably ended up where I expected. I expected you to be around, that 3rd and 4th space, and that start, mate, for you this season, you needed it because, boy, come end of it, you were really, luckily the gap was massive. For the top 3 this season were just pulled away early on, didn't they? And no one got close to us really.
Big star. I mean, we've never
been top 4. Sorry,
we went out of the top 4 all season. We never got any lower than 4th, which I mean, that's an achievement in itself, isn't it, really, when you think about it. But like you say, that start we had was so important. I mean, we've spoken. If you'd offered us that at the start of the season, I'd have took both your hands off. Because after the way we finished last season, I was expecting another mid-table finish, to be fair, and we far exceed any expectations. That's fair play to the manager and what he's done, because we haven't really added that many new signings, really. So credit to him and credit to the backroom staff, really. But what an achievement! What a massive achievement!
It's a mad one, mate, because there's a lot of similarities in what you were saying earlier about when you go in these barren spells where you're struggling. You do have a proportionate fan base. I mean, I can't speak for you lot, but I'll assume it'd be similar to Leeds fans. So you'll have a proportionate fan base who will look at your results and be like, we're 4th, we're in playoffs, what we're whinging about. But then you have I think that the realistic people, I call them the happy clappers and people with blind faith. My mate's got blind faith, and no matter what, we could get 10-0 by a pub side and he'd still see positive. But like you have other side of people who are like, yeah, but we might be fourth, we might be doing this, but we were first and we've stuck to it. We've lost 4 on bounce, 5 on bounce, and it's a tussle between. But ultimately, you've had a manager come over here who started like house on fire, give you a lot of doubts, mate, at points this season. But when you get to the final game and you go up like that, it really doesn't matter. But what I'd like to ask you, Wayne, the little bits of you're struggling, and it will be at fault for them. It might be tactical change, it might be not bringing subs on. I don't know what it'll be, but a lot of these problems we've seen in Daniel Farke this season, and we didn't have a multitude of games what we lost. We had 2 or 3 draws on bounce. It was not too bad at Leeds, but still, when you draw 3 on bounce, I think it was at one point for Leeds, or 1 winning 6 with 4 or 5 draws. It starts to mount up, and a lot of the little bits that annoy me about Farke, I'm worried about going up to Prem. And you're only 48 hours promoted, mate, so you're probably not even going there yet. We've had a few weeks to think about it as Leeds fans, and you need to live it moment for as long as you can, but you can't help but look at what's next. And
100%.
How do you feel about Regis Labrie now? Because I know he's frustrated you at times, but do you feel like he can build a squad capable and as a club to stay in the division, mate?
I think tactically wise, he's proved that he can do it. But you see, I've still got them niggling doubts, which when you're in a massive league, the step up between where we are now and where we're going to be next season is unbelievable. It really is, and it's going to take just more than tactical knowledge and nous to even have a chance of staying up. We're going to have the support of the owners and all this sort of stuff, and get the right players in. If we do the same like we did with Luton, what'll happen. So it's a tough one, but I think even Labrie said after the game, they'll have a week off and then it's straight back into preparation for next season. It has to be, and we've now got this new transfer window starting 1st of June, and there's this new mini thing that's starting up. So ideally, you should have targets identified already. But there's a few things that I'm worried about Labrie's substitutions at times, and something's a bit too negative. But I'm trying not to think about that too much. Like what our managers, he's like yourselves for 40 years, have all got your own worries. Farke's been in the Prem before. He's got the experience, so he should have learned from them mistakes, hopefully. With Labrie, it's brand new. So, I don't know, it's for him, he's going to learn, just learn the job, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's exciting though. Obviously, it's now we've got transfer rumor, a lot of rumours at minute for Leeds fans. Yours probably, I don't know if yours have even kicked in yet. It's still, but we've had weeks of we're linked with every man on the dog, as you can expect. But I don't know what's true and what's not at the minute. I'd assume not many of them, because 49ers move in silence, to be fair. But just want to touch on transfers and stuff, because obviously January we spoke, and that was a massive. It felt like a pivotal moment that both clubs missed out on. Yeah. Neither of us made a move. I think you brought in Isidore, didn't you, on a perm, but you were already there. And is that right? And Lafayette. You felt you should have done more though at the time. I remember having the conversation with you. Yeah. We did nothing. And it's funny because Burnley did quite a lot of business, and obviously so did Sheffield United. And I was quite envious of some of the players they brought in at the time. And I've had a lot of mates now cashing receipts saying, you see, we did. But at the time, Ben Brayton Diaz would have been great for Leeds off the bench, and I'll stand by that. But it sets us up better now, I'd say. You look at Burnley, 35 million quid's already gone now on the players that got them promoted. Are they good enough?
That's right.
We now have a blank canvas, don't we, to build on what we got. It was a gamble, Wayne, but we got away with it.
Massive gamble. I mean, let's say we spoke just after the transfer window, didn't I? And I was saying the fact that we haven't invested and we haven't made them signs to get out of the line is going to come and bite us on the arse. I mean, thankfully it didn't, but I mean, even since we signed Isidore permanent, he's been dog shite for the end of the season. He really has been bad. Really. I mean, I think he scored since he scored against Jews down there, he went I think 13, 14 games out scoring. His first goal since then was in the semi-final against Coventry. That was his first goal since he scored against Jews. So that it's been shocking. Lafayette, we signed him. We've now just signed him permanently. It cost us 20 million quid.
20 million.
So there's 20 million gone of ours straight away. But that was part of the contract when we got him on loan. So I didn't mind that.
You're happy with him though, aren't you?
But even him, Matty, I'm from what I've seen, I'm not convinced he can take the Prem. I really am not convinced. I mean, he hasn't really set the world on fire. He started off well, and I know he's had a couple of injuries as well since then. But from what I've seen of him, he's not a £20 million player for me. I know we've been playing him out of position.
Yeah.
So he might be better in the Prem. I didn't know, but for what I've seen, I think 20 million might be a bit overpriced. I hope I'm wrong, But,
of course.
I mean, transfers. I mean, I've just been looking on some of the fan sites. Some of the fans are getting carried away. They're on about Thomas Partey. They're on about, all these players are out of contract. Have a word with yourself, man. Thomas. I mean, no way. Dear me.
We've had some fans saying we're signing Jonathan David and Kevin De Bruyne, mate. These are things you've got to listen to. Honestly, have you been linked with Jamie Vardy yet and Callum
Yes,
Wilson?
Jamie Vardy,
Jamie Vardy,
John Stones, Jack Grealish. It's like, wait a minute, have a word with yourself, man. Dear me.
Jordan Henderson, that'll be coming around again, won't it?
That's already doing the room.
Could that happen now? Do you think?
I'd like to see it. I think purely just because of his experience. I mean, there's rumours on a website today, even 2 days after the game, that Bellingham is already in Germany having talks with 3 Bundesliga clubs. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that, because I thought getting promoted, he might have given us a season in the Prem, but looks like he's going to be away within the space of a few days.
Honestly, that's just chat. There might be no.
Well, it's from agents who are not normally wrong.
Is it one of them in the know where you believe it?
I think he's going to go. I mean, he posted a cryptic message on his Instagram page last night about he signed a new contract until 2028. He had unfinished business. That business is now done. So people are reading it in 2 ways. Does that mean he's stopping, or does that mean he's done what he wanted to do? He's now going to move on. I don't know. I mean, I thought, given the chance to play in the Premier, to jump at the chance, but the 3 teams that's linked with him in the Bundesliga, they're all in the Champions League. But like I've been saying to a few people, he's not ready for that yet. He's not good enough to be at that level yet. So a year in the Prem, I think, would have suited him better. But money talks. I mean, if somebody comes in with a big bid, then he's going to get any bright. I just think for him personally, I think it would have been better for him to stop. I mean, he hasn't gone yet. The time yet. It's looking like it.
I find it crazy that he could potentially leave, and I know, like you say, money talks, and if he leaves, he'll be going on to huge things, maybe emulating his brother and so on. Whether he's ready or not, he'll probably believe he's ready, won't he? And that's the thing, he'll believe it. Yeah. But we haven't seen Jude play in Premier League yet. I would have thought Joe would have jumped at chance for that first year in Premier League. Is it in back of his head? Will he be worried about being in a relegation fight, knowing that there ain't going to be many wins for probably the promoted side this season? That's Leeds included. It's going to be a battle, and we're not going to be flying at the top of the league over this season like we have done this. So he's at the back of his head thinking, the realist in him will probably say it's going to be a struggle. Mm-hmm. I suppose it's a short career. You don't know if you're going to get the opportunity again. But being Joe Bellingham's brother, being Job, the talent that he is, he kicked the can a year down the line, try and keep Sunderland in division, then move on. I don't see there being an issue with that, but I'm going to ask you about him. I'm actually quite gutted to hear that's already, because for me, if he's in talks now, that says to me, I don't think he believed you were going to go up, and he's already started the talks.
That's what we've said, and I've been saying that if he's put that, if there's rumours come out today that apparently he's in Germany today having talks. Now, if that's the case, these plans have been in place before the playoff final.
I think so.
Which makes it even a little bit more frustrating, because after the game, he's kissing the badge and doing this, and that just pisses me off. And that, if that's the case, and he had plans to leave, then I mean, I could be talking out with Tony. He might stay. It might be all a load of bullshit. I didn't know.
Hopefully.
I'd like to see him stay for another year, just to give us a chance. I mean, if he's that good and he wants to prove himself, then what better way is to try and help us stop in the Prem?
No, exactly like you're saying. His brother's not done that. He stays another year, and then he moves on. And let's be fair, the big money whether he goes now or next year, and he can leave your place a bit of a hero then, can't he? Do you know what I mean? Rather than just leaving now, and it's all like saying unfinished business. I feel like if you left now, that would be unfinished business. I would say. What about Chris Rigg?
I think Chris Rigg will stop. I mean, I really do think he's, like you see, he's only 17, and I think he might give us another year. He's a local lad in our Sunderland's club, so I've got a feeling he might stop. But again, if big money comes in for them, then the question will be asked, wouldn't it? But I think he might stay. I really do. But again, another one. They're all talent, but are the Premier League ready yet? Probably not.
Yeah, that's the thing, mate. It's you probably, I'd say, looking at Sunderland's side, you're probably ahead of your curve, really. I sort of looked at you, if I'm honest, this season, and sort of thought you'd finish third, fourth, and you maybe wouldn't go up, maybe. And then next year you'd come back again. But you always stated that if you probably didn't go up this year, you'd lose this talented crop. But I always felt like you needed another year, maybe, with this talent you've got up now. I'd be gobsmacked if you didn't keep the the majority. I mean, Trey Hume's impressed me this year, mate. I think he's. I mean, I don't. You see more than me, but I'm a massive fan of Trey Hume. But he's
class. Well, he's got out player of the season. I mean, all the stats, I think I was reading something today. He's got the most duels, the most forward passes, all these sort of stats, and he's been out player of the season. He's been tremendous. Like, I mean, he's in the space of a couple of years, he's done that. He's Northern Ireland. He's captain Northern Ireland. He's getting their player of the season, and he's just gone strength to strength. I mean, all of them good players from us are going to be linked with bigger clubs and bigger moves, but you just got to hope and pray that you know that they've been part of something, because they've been at the club for 2 or 3 years, and maybe if I was them, they'd want to do a job in the Prem and have a go at the Prem with a club they've helped getting promoted. Yeah,
100%. It's like with Leeds, we've got some players like your Tanakas and your Dan James who have had brilliant seasons at our place, and you think, who if a side comes in, but I sort of think when you're a Championship player, all you want is Premier League.
Yeah.
Then when you get to Premier League, that's okay for a year or two. Then you want Europe. I'm very surprised if someone comes up and automatically thinks I want to skip that step. Right. So I think Premier League should be enough for anyone who played Championship football last season.
Exactly.
And then after that, then mate, that's when the conversations come. If you have a couple of seasons where you stay up, right, go with my best wishes. You know, like I think Tanaka is a Champions League player in the future. Maybe not now. You know, we've got to stay up, and we've got to try and sell them that dream that they can do at Leeds United, like you have there. It's difficult.
It is. It's tough, you know. And like you say, when these big clubs come calling, you know, you're at Sunderland, but you know, if somebody in the top 6 come calling, you know, your Tottenhams, your Liverpools, and all them sort of teams, then obviously your head's gonna get turned in it. It's just natural.
It's mad way, isn't it, right? When you look at Premier League, because that just rolls off tongue. That top 6, Tottenham, 17th, mate.
And Man United, like, hang on a minute.
It's so, honestly, I don't know if it excites me more or worries me more that you've got teams like that in 16th or 17th, like the Europa League final hosted by teams who should have been in a relegation battle, but because the other 3 were unfortunately so poor, that because obviously as a Leeds fan, you know, I'd have loved Scum to come down. But like they were just never in threat because the gap was so big. But it's a crazy division, mate. Honestly, like I mean, is he 8, 9 teams in Europe next season? That may help.
I was looking at the league earlier on today, and I'm thinking, out of the like bar the us 3 that's been promoted, is which teams are worse than us? That could actually take one of our players.
It's hard,
even like the Wolves, and then like the teams you expect to struggle, Wolves, Bournemouth, them they're all doing well. Forest, you know, could have had Champions League this season. Like
when you look at the benches, Wayne, they've got £30 million players on the bench. These sides because they've been in Premier League now for so long that they've been able to pump that money in and get a squad that you look at the bench and they're all capable. You know, their bench should probably start for us. Some players left out of their match day squad maybe are talented enough for newly promoted sides, and that's the difficult part when you look at it. We would have to relegate a West Ham, a Palace, a Bournemouth, you know, one of these sides, and it's quite hard because I look at it and I think Tottenham and Man United probably won't be 16th or 17th again. I would say.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that's going to strike twice with you that lightning, but that's the worry when you look at it. But I'm also one of those fans who I've started looking ahead now because we've been promoted now a fair few weeks ourselves, but I wanted to live it moment for as long as I could. And the press, I mean, you listen to it, you know, as a Sunderland fan, you listen what happened at Leeds United with the Daniel Farke stuff. We got promoted, and within a day, there were a mass media storm about us sacking him. And honestly, right, it could only happen at Leeds United that, like, it totally took the sting out of promotion for us. Luckily, you know, Parag came out when he sort of put that record straight and says he's my guy. And then we went and won the title within a few days of that sort of statement coming out. And then Leeds were just absolutely buzzing. I mean, have you had your parade yet? Have you?
I don't think we have one.
Never.
From what I can gather, there hasn't been any. No, I don't think we have one. Which again, that's just like Sunderland Council. I think I've never heard any stories or any
wow,
which is a bit shit. Like,
I'm assuming you saw Leeds one. Honestly, mate, literally one of the best days of my life, mate. And I've got a fair few children, mate, but we're right up there. It was just it was a bit of a mad one for us because obviously we played the home game that sort of guaranteed the promotion, but didn't quite guarantee against Bristol. Then we had to watch the Burnley game. They beat Sheffield United, so we had that moment. Then obviously we got the title, then we had the parade. So it felt like we were celebrating every weekend for like 3 weeks. Yeah. And honestly, that last month at season for us was just I can't even describe it. It was just unbelievable. I mean, the football we played, the way we won it as well, like, last minute away at Plymouth, fans will tell you they'd rather won it 5-0 and known all game we'd won. But, that bit of jeopardy win, although you don't like it when it's happening, that, like you say, you would have rather won league and put your feet up, but then winning at Wembley, you probably wouldn't. It's one of those things where you want it's easier.
Them two games, Matty, I mean, the last minute win at Wembley, I don't think that beats the semi-final win. The Ballard, the last minute goal again. Honestly, the way it happened and the scenes and the atmosphere after the game, like, I've never seen now like it. Like that, like you say, it's one of the best days of your life. And then you can dig it again in the final, like 94th minute, just to try and top it. But that semi-final was something else. Like, it was absolutely unbelievable. You can't, unless you're there, you can't describe it, can you? It's like,
no, you can't. It's one of those as well, mate. Like, a bit like with Leeds as well. As a fan base, we've gone through, haven't we? Ups and downs. I know a lot of clubs have that, but obviously, I've told you before. I've watched your documentary. I've watched it, I think, 2 or 3 times, to be fair. And it just resonates with me as a Leeds fan. And I work hard and stuff, and I go pay my money. And sometimes money's not always there, but I still find a way to get to the game and stuff. And it resonates with me a lot with Sunderland fans. And you live and breathe it, don't you? And like, just to see scenes, it's very, very close to how sort of we are at Leeds. I'd say it's very similar. And I think the Premier League, you heard it from pundits, you heard it from other players as well, like, and other fans. They're buzzing to have us and yourselves back in the division.
Two massive clubs.
It is, mate, and I can't wait again for the rivalry to carry on with you, because we had some crackers. Obviously, last season now we had some absolute crackers. A Melier mistake at your place, and then the 2 late goals at our place. Yeah, it's been brilliant, mate. But I just thought both clubs get the transfers business right, because I said it this season. I wanted you to come up with us. I'd like you to stay up with us, but what are chances of 2 or 3 promoted sides staying up, buddy? Probably slim. So we'll have to see how it goes. What's been the reaction from Newcastle supporters, mate? I'm interested to know.
Actually, it's been spot on. I've had a couple of Newcastle fans message me and saying they're over the moon. The derbies are back.
I've seen that. Yeah,
you think it's 6 easy points, but you know what I mean. Which, to be fair, I'm not looking forward, but I am looking forward to play them, but not looking forward because the squad they've got in the team, they've got the street. But just to have that derby back again, it's going to be class. And so the majority of them, I mean, you'll always get some who hate us and just want us to fail left, right, and centre. But I think the majority of them are quite happy that them derby games are going to be back again.
Yeah.
But that's like you see, when you look at, I was reading something today about the current values of the squads in the Premier League, and I think ours is worth like 18 million. The next one is 120.
It's a madness, mate.
That's the gap you've got to bridge. Like,
yeah, no, it is. It's going to be. I've said on this channel, it's going to be biggest summer for decades for us. We've got to get it right. I mean, we've got stadium improvements going on in the background as well, like mass investment for that. It's the whole PSR thing really hampers us promoted sides as well, doesn't it? I mean, really hampers us. It's like you start on wrong footing straight away, which I don't really agree with.
It should be the other way around to give you a chance of staying up.
Yeah. They're that worried, I suppose. That's how they play. They're that worried that we'll go back down and then we'll get in a mess. But for me, you need to give us half a chance to at least enjoy. It's like they take your hope away before you've even kicked a ball. And I know it's football. I know anything can happen. You don't have to spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions. You can get it right. We got Tanaka for $3.5 million, and I think he's an absolute baller. You'll have done the same with certain players. You've brought kids through who've done bits, and we'll go on to greatness. But it is a shame to. I mean, I would a bit blind to be fair. Obviously I've got this channel. I don't like doing much reading, to be fair. It's more a fan reaction. I don't like doing too much digging and reading news and stuff. It's not my bag, that, mate. But like, I just think, oh, we're promoted. Here we go, million, and then you hear straight away within a couple of days, Farker's going, and we haven't got money. We haven't got money to spend, and I'm like, what's going on? We've been promoted. What's going on? But the cruel reality is, we're going to have to do some shrewd business. We might even have to sell potentially a player or two we don't want to sell.
That's right. I mean, that's what might happen with Job. We might have to sell him, and I think that there's a reason why 99% of the time the 3 teams get promoted come straight back down. There's a reason for it, and that's one of the reasons, because you cannot strengthen like you want to strengthen.
How much is Job worth, would you say? What's the value on him?
Well, we bought him for 1.5 million. And I think he like I say, he signed that contract to 2028, so that'll put his price. I think we'll probably get about 25 to 30 for him.
I thought you'd have gone higher than that, because I would have been more realistic around that ballpark, but because of the English tax and because it's the Bellinghams, I was expecting you, if I'm honest, Wayne, to go 40. And I know you're a level-headed guy, but I thought you'd say maybe 40. I'd be like, come on, Wayne, are you sure? But
he's not worth that, man. He's not. For all he's got the Bellingham reputation, he's still only 19 himself. He's still learning the game. He's not at that level yet.
Still raw, isn't he?
He's a great prospect, but like he's not worth that. I mean, we don't have to sell him. He's under contract, so we should be demanding that sort of money for him. If anybody wants him, they should come in and pay that sort of money. But he's not worth that. But
yeah, no, I agree. What have you made of the auto sort of race between us, Burnley and Sheffield United? Did you think? Were you surprised at that? I mean, the Sheffield United demise. Well, I didn't expect that, to be fair, but they went on a balance spell of 4 losses. I mean, just talk us through that away from Sunderland, Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United. How we sort of.
Well, I always thought Hughes were strong. I always thought Hughes would win the league. I was surprised at how well Burnley did, how they did run you quite close. But that was just because of that unbelievable defensive record they had. I mean, that'll probably never be bettered again. I mean, to only concede that many goals in a season is unheard of. And fair play to Scott Potter. And the strengthened well in January as well, didn't they? They bought some good players. And they got some good players on loan. I think they paid that Esteve, they got to pay £12.5 million for him. He's a cracking centre half. Okay. That the Edwards, they bought the winger from Sporting, who we were linked with. He's done well for them. Jaden Anthony, the likes of them. But again, Sheffield United, they seem. I just didn't like them. They're just cocky. The fans are cocky. I was watching some of their fan TV channels before the game, and the fans, we're going to get promoted, bring bloody blah on and all this, that, and the other, and shouting. Wilders cocky, I just didn't that way guns on, and it's just nice to bring them down a peg or two. And all they had, I think, in January before they made them signings, that they went on that bad run where they didn't have players, but they paid £10 million for Tom Cannon, and he scored 1 goal for them. You know what I mean? So
no, I know. They say they brought in players, didn't they? But they brought in I say the wrong ones. It proved to be the wrong ones. I mean, Ben Brayton Diaz didn't set the world alight. Tom Cannon didn't. I don't think Chowdhury did too well as well.
Just money doesn't guarantee your promotion. I mean, they did spend quite a bit of money in January. I mean, they have got some good players who me personally, the likes of Gustavo Hema. I think he's a cracking player. Is he Premier League class? I didn't know. He's been there with Sheffield before and he didn't quite do it. But watching him on Saturday, he looks quality. He's one of them where he's above the Championship. But is he Prem? He's like in that kind of gap.
Feel like that. I mean, that goal he set up were cracking for them, wasn't it? Beautiful play. I mean, to be fair, because he looks quite. I can't say it up. He looked a bit of a chunky guy, but he had a turn of pace, mate.
But he's a bit chunky, shall we say? Yeah. And he outpaced 3 of our players to get to the ball, which I thought, how's that happened?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I seen that goal. I'm like, wow. And then he played a beautiful ball through, and it was a great finish by them. Tell you what, all 3 goals were absolutely stunning. They're really fantastic goals. Wembley were due a good game with plenty of goals after, I think he usually ends 1-0 to play a final quite a lot, doesn't it? It's quite a tight one. But Tommy Watson, is he leaving him?
Brighton.
10
million.
I thought so. How much?
10.
How long's that been in pipeline for?
He signed. Well, it was after the transfer window when it was agreed. It was probably about 5-6 weeks before the season finished.
And has he played every game since and still dug in?
He's been in the squad. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll hold my hands up. I mean, on my review video of the final, I'd put a clip in of the video I'd done a few weeks ago to say Tommy Watson should never wear a Sunderland shirt again.
Really?
Now, I just apologise. Look, I'm so pleased he did. You sometimes hate the moment you see things, but
of course,
because there's a couple of games he played where it looked like he didn't really want to know, and his head wasn't in it. But to be fair to the lad, he come back in the team and he knuckled down, and he get us £200 million, didn't he? End of the day, nice parting gift. But
that's it.
But him, I mean, he's only 19 himself. He's only played a handful of games for us, and at £10 million to get to Brighton, that just shows you where transfers are at.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, he's going to Brighton, but I don't see him playing much football, but then he stayed at Sunderland. He'd have played. So I don't know if a lot of these players with a job as well. Maybe they just didn't fancy it to go up. You're looking at Tommy Watson leaving there 5-6 weeks for the end of the season when you were in that balanced spell. Something comes. Maybe it's just we're not going to do this, and that belief to keep going till final whistle, it were there in all players, but there must have been one or two who clearly just didn't think it had happened, buddy.
It must have been. I say it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, the way we were playing, none of us fancied us, apart from probably behind the scenes the manager and some of the players were up for it. But
you weren't even getting shots on goal, were you? Let alone goals.
No, I think we didn't. We only scored. We never scored more than one goal in a game for since it must be since about Christmas time until a big Coventry 2-1, and that's unreal. You know what I mean? It's like we were we were so bad. We really were so bad, and players didn't look as though they were putting everything in. But just funny how football works out. It's all come together in the end. But I mean, even the Coventry games, we were second best in the first game, but we got 2 breakaway goals. The second game, Coventry with a better side, the lovely football, but you see what happened there. And for 75 minutes on Saturday, we were miles off it. We put 2 bits of quality together, and you win the game.
Mate, seeing Lampard's face, whinging that they didn't deserve it, and then honestly, you've done us a solid there. You've knocked him out, and then you've knocked Wilder out. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I'd like to know who in your squad then are you sort of hanging your hat on will do it in the Prem? Is Trey Hume one of them?
Trey Hume be one of mine. To be fair, there's not that many who I think are good enough. Yeah, but some of them will improve. Naturally they will improve. But I think Patterson, the goalkeeper, will probably do all right.
I like him.
Trey Hume will probably do all right. Chris Mepham, I'm not too sure about. He was at Bournemouth, didn't really feature, and they've found him out to us for a reason, because I didn't think he was good enough for Premier League. But probably the level at where Bournemouth are and the level where we are, he could probably do a job for us for what's out there. So Mepham, if we do sign him permanent, which I didn't know we will, but I'd like us to get him.
Yeah.
And Ballard, I think it'll be if we can keep him fit, I think he'd be a cracking player in the Prem. Luke O'Nien, I didn't rate him as a Premier League, but he's good for the squad. Yeah. Not having the squad, he's a motivator. All the players look up to him, so he'd be kept. Dennis Certain, I'm not convinced about at all. Really? I don't think he's good enough. Need pace. In the Prem, Matty, you've got to have pace. If you haven't got pace, you get found out.
No, you don't.
The midfield. See, Chris Rigg will learn, but he's probably not Premier League quality yet. Job, I'd like to see him give him a chance, but we're probably not going to be here. Dan Neil, another one, got talent, but not sure if he's good enough to be in the Premier League. I mean, the likes of Everton and them are sniffing around him, and if somebody comes in with a big bid for Dan Neil, I'd probably be tempted. Yeah. But it's what you do with the money. Mayenda, I love Mayenda. I think he's going to be a hell of a centre forward. He's got the calmness. He's got the personality. He's cool. He's calm, confident, and he's only young. He's only 19 himself. So
is that all he is? 19.
19, aye.
My word.
The pace he's got and the way. I mean, the improvement in him this year has been unreal. I mean, we sent him out on loan to Hibs last year. He couldn't even get a game for them. He's come back this season, and what a difference! What a difference!
Bit manager, I guess. Manager's got best out of him. So when you look at a manager, sometimes they'll have the flaws and stuff like that. But we've got it with Farker, with Juni Firpo, with Dan James. Certain players who didn't look at it under other managers, or we weren't confident as a fan base in, and sometimes it just clicks. And obviously, he's got that way with a brilliant there. Yeah,
I think we have to. If we can, we have to build the spine of the team. We're going to have. We've got Patterson, we've got Ballard. For me, we need a really good centre midfield player and a centre forward, and then build the rest around them. Yeah, who that'll be, or if we do get them, I don't know. It's a tough league.
It's mad now because obviously before you kicked the ball, Leeds fans were like, "Oh, who would we take outside? If Sheffield don't come up and Sunderland don't come up, and is there anyone you'd take from a Sheffield United or anyone else in the division who's not come up?" I mean, I personally wouldn't want to buy anyone from Championship. I want to be looking upwards. I'd rather look in European markets because there's better players there who may be cheaper than Championship players. But is there anyone in Championship? I mean, I'd go with Cooper maybe in goal because we need a keeper, obviously, from Sheffield United. That probably isn't a focus for you guys. But anyone from that Championship you've seen this season where you go, I'd have him.
Based on what I've seen, but again, you didn't have to kind of step up. I like that Harrison Burrows from Sheffield United. I think he's come from Peterborough and he's stepped up with a cracking season this season for them. He's a good left back. He's got a cracking shot on him. Gets forward. So I like him. I've already said I like Gustavo Hema. I think as a creative midfield player, is good. Who else have I seen? I like, but I don't know if he'd be good enough. In the 2 games that we watched against Coventry, Matt Grimes, he ran the show both games. Now, I didn't know if you've seen him when he's played Coventry, what he played like, but against
he's played for us before, mate. He's been at Leeds. I think he did a year at Leeds. Yeah, a fair few years ago. But I think he's just a really decent Championship player. He's tidy, yeah. But no, he's definitely good at Championship level. But I wouldn't say any higher than that. But
no, but apart from that, I mean, even the likes of when you look at that Borja Signs, I've seen him twice, and I'm not convinced. And he scored 15, 16 goals, but. Even him, I didn't think he'd be good enough for the Premier League.
No, yeah, I mean, we've been linked with him as well, and he's not my cup of tea, mate. His disciplinary record's not right cracking. Yeah, I know stats-wise it looks good, but to be fair, they were in clusters. That most of that was before Christmas, wasn't it? He hadn't heard much about him since, but no, I mean, I've said on this channel many times, like, we need some Premier League proven players, but we also, if we're going to take a gamble on people who haven't been in Prem before, I'd rather get people who've played in maybe one of the top 5 leagues, elsewhere, like a Bundesliga player or, a Serie A player, La Liga player. I'd rather take that hit than a Championship player because you're going to be paying a lot of money for some of these Championship players. I mean, Borja Signs, I'm assuming it'd be a big fee, being the star man in a side like, where there isn't much money in that division as well. If you're mid-table, I suppose. There's value for your money, all around Europe, and we're looking quite a lot by the sounds of it in Germany. We brought obviously Tanaka in, and like I say, Tanaka, he didn't get our player that year, Dan James did, but Tanaka, as you've seen, is absolute baller, and for $3.5 million, that's sort of the benchmark when I'm looking at transfers from abroad. I might not know much about some of the players we're linked with, but that don't mean they're not good ballers because I didn't know Tanaka one until
That's it. I mean, looking at based on the model that we've got now, we're kind of working in the similar type of model as Bournemouth and Brighton, and that's exactly what they've done. Some of the players they've signed, they've got them, Alexis McAllister, all them, what they've gone on to buy from now for 35, 40 million. That's the model what we're using. I mean, off the Bournemouth team, you've never heard of, but Bournemouth have got some cracking players that.
Great team. It's a bit of a sad model for a fan sometimes. Well, if you think, I don't like the term selling club, but it's where we sort of are now sometimes. To bridge that gap, you've got to bring money in certain ways. If you haven't got, a state backing you, you've sort of got to bring in talented players at a decent price, and then hopefully they do well for you for 2 or 3 years. Like we had it with Rafinha. But can you believe what we're like watching Barcelona this season? We're like, we had him at Leeds a few years ago. We got 17, sold him for I think 45, and the world's his oyster now. And we saw it with Leicester, didn't we? Back in the day with Mahrez and Cam. This is sort of model you've got to do. But if you reinvest the money, if your scouting network's right and all the people behind the scenes, you can bridge that gap in other ways than just spending 40 million on a Dilap, thinking like Everton are going to do this apparently this summer now, and hoping he can do it. And I think you've just got to get it right off the field. And I know at Leeds United, it sounds like we've got that. I mean, do you feel that at your side? Because obviously when we were promoted last time, Wayne, it was Bielsa at the helm, League One behind the scenes, but we didn't realise because we were just so happy we're in Premier League. Are you confident in behind the scenes?
Yeah, I am now. We've massively learned from our mistakes. I mean, the last time we got promoted, when we signed, honestly, some right donkeys for some unbelievable money. Players who only came for the money, the likes of Djilabodji, Didi and Dong, Jack Rodwell, all them sort of players. Awful. And the money that we spent on wages and transfer fees, and look where we ended up, we were absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
And we've learned from that mistake. So there's no way where we just took the money out like that. So, which is good. You've got to look after the club end of the day. And all there's parachute payments and what have you. But like you say, you've got to do it the right way. And there is some players out there. People think that you've signed a player for 5-6 million, must be shite. That's not the case. It's just where he's come from. And, you've got to identify these gems and bring them in and develop them and bring them on. And that's just the way you have to do it. The first season, if you can get past the first season and survive, then look at Nottingham Forest, you're laughing. look where they've gone, look where Bournemouth have gone, look where Brighton have gone. That's what you're going to be aiming for. But that first season is massively, massively difficult to get over.
No, like I say, it's getting more increasingly difficult, isn't it? When you look at just touching on Championship, I know it's in the rear view now. looking at us going down, you've seen Will still go to Southampton.
Right.
Whether that's a good move, I don't know. An exciting move for a potentially young, exciting coach. But Leicester, as a Leeds fan, again, we had a battle with them. I say last season, but season before last now, I guess. And it's really, really funny to see them sort of get bit on their ass for what they did 2 years ago with financial fair play and all that. And I don't know how many points they'll get deducted, but I suppose if they get a fair whack, it gives someone else an opportunity to maybe a Bristol or maybe a Sheffield United again to step up, because usually the sides that come down are going to be the favourites to go back up. But yeah, where do you see that next season when you're looking at the Championship?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a difficult one. I think. I mean, I thought Luton would have bounced back. Because
crazy.
I can't believe. I mean, but they have done what we did. Double relegation. That's exactly what happened to us.
Go on, say it. Done Sunderland, say it. Like we say it.
Done Sunderland. But I don't know. Leicester. I'm not too sure they would probably come back. But anyway, regardless of, I mean, the managers that Van Nistelrooy does not inspire me at all. Not a good manager from what I've seen. There might be a few surprises. I mean, there's loads of big teams in that league now that
there is
clearly mustn't be run right. The likes of Watford, who have always had a decent side, but have struggled for years and years and years.
Yeah. Stoke, Norwich, there's a lot in there.
All of them, Ipswich. Again, I didn't know if they'll probably lose majority of their players now.
Yeah.
The likes of Delap and all them, they'll probably leave. I mean, we're on about Jack Clark. I mean, we sold him for big money. He's gone there and come straight back down. So, it's like
sweet, isn't it, that when you do that, you're just like, yeah, he's gone at Prem. And yeah, where about longevity in that lad,
Went for the way. Think you're clever. Think you're the bully big boy. They're in the Premier League and look where you are. And this is the similar type of thing where I'm saying these players, they think they're better than what they are sometimes. They think, the lure of the Premier League, yes, but an artist short career and you've got to take it when you can type of thing. But he could have went to somewhere better than Ipswich.
Yeah, 100% he could.
If he stayed with us to the end of the season, got us promoted, there'd have been better clubs than Ipswich after him.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, mate. So yeah, just to sort of like summarise, mate, just how the day at Wembley then, because we haven't really gone into the day. Like you drove, I take it you drove. You didn't. So you weren't drinking. You were driving.
No, I never had a drink all day, which was. I felt like I should have had one, but I didn't know. I drove down in the morning, left here. It was about 6:30 Saturday morning. Got there about 12:30. Did the usual Wembley weird, a bit water around. Got in the ground atmosphere, and then after the match we drove back and got back about 11:30. But just what a deal. But I mean, for us, Wembley is like, without sounding cocky, we've been there 4 or 5 times in recent years. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a one.
Yeah.
It's nice that the last 3 times we've been there, we've actually won. Once was behind closed doors in COVID. We've won the Papa John's, and then we beat Wickham, and then we've gone and beat Sheffield United. So it wasn't a happy place. But now I've seen us win there now twice, which
lucky bugger.
It's unbelievable. Like you see it. Like we spoke before, yes, it would be nice to win the league and what have you, but to win the playoffs in the manner that we won the playoffs, you just kind of beat it. You kind of beat the feeling, the experience of that.
It's mad, mate. You like I say, you think going back a fair few weeks, we've got that, that pure like delight of getting promotion, and you're still in your losing streak. Fast forward a few weeks, and we're level again as a Premier League side. It's crazy, how it sort of falls. But obviously, we were there last year, and I was absolutely devastated to lose that, and I'm very envious that you got that, because the day were brilliant for us at Wembley. Last year it was fantastic, but the result obviously ruined it. But this season for us, it's been absolutely unbelievable. And last 2 seasons as a Leeds fan's been incredible. I think I've only seen at Ellen Road, I think we've lost maybe 4 or 5 in 2 seasons. I've seen 3 of them losses. I've seen 3 losses in 2 whole seasons. Been to a few away games, won there as well. It's been incredible, and we just keep us feet on ground, have a decent window. Level of optimism's, it's probably realistic by Leeds fans. We've had we've got a few saying, top 10 isn't out of reach, but the majority are saying 15th, 16th at best. We'd all take 17th now, Wayne. But you've got to be realistic, but it's hard to really judge now when you don't know who you're bringing in. You've just got
to be fair, I mean, looking at the two clubs, I would say, sitting here, that you've obviously got the better chance of staying up because of the squad you've got already.
We've had longer to plan as well, mate. We've got 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Aye, so I think, one thing what I liked about what I heard from us is that in the last few weeks, we've kind of drew up 2 kind of transfer lists, one for the Prem and one if we're still in the Championship, which is good. It showed that there was 4. So I'm just hoping the ones that they've identified, they've already started to put them plans in place to get them in. But I really can't say you was giving it a right go this next season. I mean, like I say, some of the players you've got already, it's like Dan James, and then they've got Premier League experience, so they've been.
I think Solomon's close. I think we'll get Solomon back. We got him on loan, obviously, but I think we may end up getting him back if we get Solomon back and Dan James. It's not a bad start.
Ampadu, international players, Joe Roden, I 100% need a goalkeeper because I didn't rate him. He's been in the Prem before and cost you points in the Premier League. So
it's mad, isn't it? How long he's actually had a crack at being our number one. Right. You know how big Leeds is as a club, and he's been our number one for 5 years, mate.
I thought he would have been first at the door beginning of the last season. Like, I really can't believe some of the clangers that he dropped in the Premier League. But
his highlight reel, mate, is a shocker. just honestly, it's mental. This season, I think he's done at least 4, 5, 6 actual proper big highlights. As bad as the one at Sunderland, what he did, absolute clangers. But luckily, we had Carl Darlow, which it was just steady for us. Experienced Championship goalkeeper. He came in, and we weren't expecting world class performances. We're just expecting no blunders and just a steady Eddie at back. And luckily for us, he plays for Wales as well. So he's Rodon, Ampadu, Danji. There's that synergy, 3 or 4 Welsh together, that core, that Welsh international side. So that really helps us. And you could see, like, we drew against Swansea, I think, like a 3rd draw in a row, a late equaliser by them at Ellen Road. I was devastated. 2-2, 95th minute. I'm thinking we've lost plot here. I had a few reaction videos. They tend to get more views when you're pissed off, don't they? You've probably seen that.
The more that you get, the better views you get.
100%, mate. I got loads of subscribers because I was having an argument with my best mate in car. It went down well, but
I've seen that.
That was probably the biggest video I've ever done. But he just by raw emotion, he's been pissed off, and he knew what buttons to press because he always thought we'd go up.
He was the one with one of the happy clappers.
Yeah, he was, mate, one of the happy clappers. But in that moment, I thought we were done again. But the character of the lads to sort of, I mean, Patrick Bamford did. He's been at Foscast this week, and they were talking about after that Swansea game, and Farker sort of left them to it for 10 minutes. And if Farker said himself he didn't see as big a problem as the players, but the players took it on themselves to have a bit of a heart and get together and have a flash a few points out. And from that moment, then they went and won every game, And sometimes, that's just what's needed. Lads just need to get their heads together. What's going on here? Flash out a few points that aren't going their way, and luckily we got there because the Leeds are falling apart again, buddy. That champ, we're coming in for a few weeks now. I'm shitting myself, pal. But I'm made up, mate. It's what we say. We spoke several times that we speak on WhatsApp now and again as well. And this was our ideal. Obviously I'm a Leeds fan, you're a Sunderland fan, but I'm quite fond of you as a person, fond of your channel and fond of your club, and I know you're the same with me. So it's ended up being perfect end to a brilliant year, bud.
Perfect ending. Couldn't have went any better. It couldn't have played out any better end of the season. Yous have won the league. We've won the playoffs in the best way possible. Aye. And it's just amazing. Couldn't have wrote the script any better.
And now we've got 2 Premier League YouTube channels, buddy. Premier League level.
Let's hope we have some Premier League numbers next season. I was on YouTube last night, and I've just subscribed to a load of Premier League YouTube. All right. I'm going to try and put some plans in place for next season to try and get someone to do some more like that sort of stuff, but with the Arsenal and the Man Cities of this world. I mean, that's going to be massive.
100%. I'm saying, mate, I want to do some opposition previews. I've done about 5 or 6 this year. It's been some sides in Championship don't have that many channels. No. Some of them have a few. I mean, Leeds United, mate, we've got about 30. It's mad. But yeah, some of them have got 2 or 3, and if you don't get a message back, it's game over. But I want to do it Premier League. There'll be loads of channels. Everyone will be up for having Leeds and Sunderland on to have a chat, I'm sure. So it's exciting times, buddy, for channel, exciting times for club. And I just hope you guys get it right, and I hope we do over summer. But
I'm just going to have to be. I know that the videos get best reviews when you rant, but I'm going to have to be next season because we're expected to lose every game. So when we are getting beat, it's just going to be staying level-headed, not criticising too much. This is where we expect it to be.
Yeah. That's it. You don't have to win. Like, at this level, you needed to win every game. Every game you had to win based on where you were, based where we were. In Premier League, we probably need to win 10, 12 games out of 30, 36, 38. Yeah. So, we're not expecting if we win one every 3 or 4 games, a couple of draws in there, so there'll be odd scalp where you go to a big boy and maybe get a win. That'll be one that lives in memory. But yeah, it's as much as you want to win every game, it ain't going to happen.
No, it's not. I mean,
so the rants won't be as big, will they? They ain't going to be as big. It's not going to be as strong when we drop points because we were expected to win these games this season. That ain't there. That next season win.
I think the biggest thing is as long as you turn up and give it a go and not just get rolled out. You didn't mind getting beat as long as you've tried. I mean, I was talking to Lass on the way back home and seeing, you've just got the games against the Man U's, Liverpool's, Arsenal's are all bonus games. Yeah, if you can take points off the teams around you, that's where you survive. That's where you survive. You might get an odd. You might get a big win, a fluke result against somebody up top off the tail. You've got to beat the West Hams, the Evertons, all 100%. These.
Beating City, what keeps you in division, is it? It's beating sides around you. Like, it's all like beating City and Chelsea and all them, and then if you go down, what good's that? You know what I mean? So now we are on that. It'll be nice to do that, but they're going to be games, obviously, like you say. Don't like saying that sort of like bonus game or whatever, but I get what you mean 100%. You're going to go into them thinking, it's a bonus today. If we don't get spanked, it's a bonus. And I've had that as Leeds fan a few years ago when we were going through us bad and spell of getting beat 4s and 5s. You go into a game against a big one and you think, please just keep it close. Please be in the game going in. Give us something to at least clap for and chant for. But yeah, it's exciting, mate. As daunting as it is, it's exciting and yeah, great ending, mate, for a perfect season. So.
It's been 8 years for us. Been 8 years, a long 8 year and all. And like both being out of League One and God knows whatever. So I
made up for yours, man. I made up for yours. But yeah, you want to add, bud, before we call it done? Let everyone know where they can get you and what you've got coming up.
Like I say, it's just the case of now just putting some plans into place for next season, getting some new content and getting some different stuff just to try and do something different on the channel, because normally with me it's just a match review, a match preview, and that's it. The odd one of these now and again. So I think just to try and get more views and more subs, I think I'm 114 away from 4,000, which if I can get to that 4,000,
yeah,
I'll be able to run it. And I'm hoping with some Premier League content and stuff, the more numbers in the Premier League, I might get that. So just do something different.
What I will say, mate, is I've sort of been in this space now for a few weeks, and it's difficult without the games because I'm the same as you. I don't really like the rumour stuff, but if you don't touch on them, there's not much else to talk about. I prefer the reaction stuff and the reviews. But yeah, you'll like I say, you'll find yourself now twiddling your thumbs thinking, what can I talk about?
Right, it's just a case of now just try to, like, I didn't really want to put shite out there just for the sake of doing a video, because that's no good. So
no.
If there's something good comes up with us, there's something concrete comes out of us. I mean, there's some rumours flying around that there's some potential other investors looking to come in. I mean, I've heard a cracking one this week. Apparently, Turkey Al Sheikh, who does the boxing in Saudi, apparently he's apparently looking for somewhere, and I'm like, oh wait, man, dear me. I mean, some people just get carried away, don't they?
Yeah, they do, buddy. Like you say, though, it's weaving your way through the bullshit, but also you are allowed to come on and chat when you're excited about something, even if you're not sure. But it's sort of weighing it up. I know a lot of people who get subs from putting clickbaity stuff, and sometimes a question mark at end of the wording is what's needed, and they don't put it there, and it makes you think something's happening. But yeah, just got to try and enjoy it, and just that's what I do. I do what I enjoy. And if I are enjoying it, I won't come on and talk about it. So
exactly.
We
all do it. We all do it for the love of it, don't we? It's
yeah, man.
Just because we love football and we love talking shite sometimes,
and we get to have a good chinwag next season again a couple of times. So I'm buzzing with that, buddy. Absolutely buzzing.
Well, we can do some, we can do some in between, not just when we're playing. 100%. Have a catch up and just, how's your season gone? How's our season gone?
100%, because I'd assume we're going to be in and around each other. I would assume if it's not, then one of us is doing cracking. But
you never know. You never know, buddy. Football's funny. If you have a decent start, then you didn't know what can happen. Momentum and confidence can take you a long way. You just got to look at the Leicesters of this world a few years ago. We'll never see that again. But
yeah, I know. But even Palace winning FA Cup, mate, it gives hope, doesn't it? It gives us hope, and that's what you want as a football fan. all that money in the world, all them big sides what can do what they want and get no penalties, City, etc. And then Palace go win FA Cup, and you think that's what football's about. That's what the FA Cup's all about. Love it.
You know what? Well, now I don't think we can now say there's a big six, because I think everybody in that league now, they're all improving. They're all improving, and it's proved that with the league this year. You know, there's the Bournemouths, the Brightons, the Forests. They're all been challenging for Europe. You know what I mean? It's good. It's great to see, because now you haven't got that, but it just makes it hard for us.
Exactly, 100%. But it's definitely worthy of the title of the best league in the world. It has been for many years, but now when you look at it, it really is. You know, yeah, fair play is that, buddy. But
the only thing I'm looking forward to next season is all the different kickoff times, because it'll go from a Saturday at 3 o'clock. We're going to have Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Monday night. You know what I mean? And getting the games is going to be a pain in the arse, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, it will, mate. It will. Less games as well, and there'll be. I'll miss the Tuesday night at Ellen Road, Saturday at Ellen Road. You know, when you get 2 games in the same week, I'm going to miss them. It'll be a lot bigger gaps between home games as well, but you've got to be there, aren't you? It's the pinnacle of sport. So we're there. We're happy. Look at these faces. We are smiling. Anyways, thank you so much for coming on, Wayne. Anybody, I know it's Leeds, a Leeds channel, but go check out Onlyfoolsandsafc. I will put the link in the video, Wayne, as well for you. But top guy, and I know I've had people come over and subscribe to your channel already.
I have, and they still comment on my videos and all. Cracking.
Glad to hear
it. South End Lee, I think it is.
It's South Stand Lee, class guy.
He's great. He straight on the other day and wished us all the best, and
love that.
Unbelievable. He's and I know, and it's cracking. So similar, you know, when I put it on my channel, you ping us the link, I put it on. Similar type of thing. I hope people come and subscribe to you, because at the end of the day, I watch other Premier League podcasts and channels just for to see, especially before a game, just how they're feeling and what they're thinking about us. You know, and it's good. So I'm hoping, you know, we'll get a few more subs and a few more views out of things.
100%, mate. Well, take care. Thank you so much. Please like, please subscribe, and all that jargon. And I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Cheers, Wayne. Bye-bye, buddy.